Hello gainers, I'm Ralphie. Welcome to my channel called Fit of Philosophy, in which I have moved my studio from the outside to the inside to this conservatory. It's a freestanding conservatory and it traps the sunlight, it traps the warmth, and it lets my plants grow more quickly and more successfully. And also, particularly when it is very rainy and stormy, it gives me a much more comfortable environment in which to present the Stoic chapters in this channel. So that's a brief explanation for those of you who have wondered about my change of location recently. And change of location affects us all. And I want to share something with you, a piece of Stoic philosophy which you'd find very difficult to discover in books. And that is recalibration of our lives. To put it into perspective, I have in previous videos recommended that in order to grow, enhance, and to see life more clearly, and particularly our quality of life in this life more clearly, we need to contemplate. We need to switch off the white noise of social media, or even worse, legacy media, and all the gaslighting and imposition of content that others wish to put upon us, particularly those who wield a lot of power through having a lot of money, and they want to basically impose it for all the good it does, really. And one of the problems with humans is they have a very, very small timeline, simply because the average human life is only about, 55 years? I know that we've been told through the legacy media that, oh yes, we're going to live to over 100. This, by the way, is nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. People can live to over 100 if they're lucky with their genes, if they're lucky with their health, if they don't suffer either a physical or financial trauma, and if they don't get caught up into the industrial medical complex too much. People can live to 100 if they have a healthy lifestyle of moderation, but we don't live in a moderation world. We live in a world of voracious consumption, and it's encouraged. People are told spend, 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 consume, 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 now, now, now. And people get caught up in the tailspin and end up taking their precious resources, the endeavours of their time and good fortune, which is in the form of money, and buying stuff which frankly isn't worth it and isn't going to particularly enrich their lives. And this is happening all the time. Just look at the people around you. The key to success is moderation. Moderation in what we invest in, moderation in what we consume, and importantly, being very fussy. Being even more fussy than we were yesterday, being far more fussy than what we were ever taught by our parents or in school, which frankly wasn't much, and certainly only a fraction of what we need to know in life. And therefore, once we take these periods of reflection, which may advance and morph into meditation, and when we take these periods of reflective information, and we start to see our personal circumstances more honestly and more realistically, particularly with the benefit of experience over time. This is how we get to know not just our strengths better, but our weaknesses better. And to know our weaknesses is a huge strength. We all have them to varying degrees. whether it's not having a head for heights, not being of particularly good mathematical or counting ability, whether it's not having a great imagination, or perhaps it's having a remarkable talent as a runner. You know, everybody is gifted in some way, and it's not so much the gift that matters. It's what we choose to do with what we've got. It's how we play our cards. And you only have to look at the poker players to see that people with a very average hand, if they play a skillful game because they know their hand, they know their game, they can do very well. And this happens all the time in life. At this point, I want to introduce the concept to you of recalibration. This is something that we do as children naturally. We recalibrate our expectations, our favourite colours, the people we want to have as friends at school. We recalibrate because we're growing up. But then we hit 18 and 19, we go out into the working world, and then it is implied that we're no longer growing up. This is an absolute misdirection and a gaslighting. We are never through growing up, no matter what age we are. This is a fact about humans and other intelligent entities across the universe. I know that sounded a little bit woo-woo, but it's what it is. One of the problems with humans is the absolute blinkers to reality that humans wear. It's a natural coping mechanism from the very early days where you woke up in the morning and didn't know if you were going to be alive at night. And therefore there was no point in thinking too much about not just tomorrow, but the year later. But things have changed. But they're still as dangerous. Threats are different, and this is why we've got to recalibrate. We've got to renew our defences, renew our form of attack weapons and defence barricades. We need to examine ourselves over time to retune and redefine what our strengths actually are, what our weaknesses actually are, and also importantly to accept as we get older that we don't need stuff. Stuff turns into junk. You know the value of stuff when an old person dies and the family or hired people come to clear out the house. And what they do, they hire a skip. Some goes to the charity shop, some goes into auction. It never gets what people think it is. When you actually add up the value of the money that people have spent over the years on stuff, which frankly really don't need, you will find that people have grossly overspent. They've undermined the freedom that comes with having financial autonomy, and they've surrounded themselves with distractions because they're there. They never go away. The old record players, the vinyl collection, the CD collection, the old clothes that never get worn, the cars, the second car that sits out in a driveway that never gets used, but haven't got round to getting rid of it because they're going to get no money for it because it's junk and nobody wants it. We live in a consumerist world, and the risk is that we inadvertently start to consume ourselves. And if we recalculate our points of reference over time, we can avoid that. Our purpose in life is to experience the journey over time and to grow from it, to become more vibrational as living sentient life forms with a life borrowed from the great source of the universes. That is the purpose of life. And when we recalibrate, we refine our purpose of life and therefore live a more fulfilling life. It's the way it goes. Thank you for watching.